We're going to be learning to be making some plant-based treats today, and I just wanted to go through some ground rules for how we run our Zoom calls. So this Zoom call is part of our Black History Month session that we're doing to celebrate Black culture. Oh, sorry, I think I froze there.
Yeah.
So where was I? Yeah, so we'll be recording these sessions and sharing them at the end of the month. And if anyone feels uncomfortable being on camera, that's fine. If you feel like you feel more comfortable with your camera off, that's a-okay. Feel free to turn your camera off and use that chat. If you've got any questions, put it in the chat. And what we can do is we'll keep an eye on them and ask the ladies while they're cooking any of the questions that you've got. So I'm going to hand over to Karima and Kalima, and I'm going to let you guys do your own intro because they run Livity, which is a plant-based food, well, it's food workshops and also sharing top tips on nutrition as well. So I'm going to hand over to you guys and you can tell us all about your journey and get started. Thank you, everyone.
Hold on a minute. That's on me. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm Karima. And I'm Kalima. Oh, what's going on there?
Ladies, we've lost you on camera.
Yeah.
Okay. What is a Zoom call if not with a couple of technical difficulties?
You back on?
There we go, we're back. We can see you.
Okay. Okay, sorry guys. So yeah, I'm Kalima and Karima. Obviously you can see we're identical twins. We're both trained chefs. So basically, I'll give you a little background of how Livity became Livity. So basically, both of us trained to be chefs straight out of school. We went to school locally in Croydon. Yeah, so we both trained 3 years to be chefs, and then straight out of college, Karima went into the chef world as such. I took a bit of time out because I had my last year of college. I had my son, so I took about a year out, and then Karima went on to like go into the kitchens. Yeah, we did that for like, well, my first job, I did that for about 4 years, and literally the best experience I've ever had, but the hardest experience I've ever had. Working in the kitchen ain't easy, but it literally gave us everything that we needed to be ready to start our own business. So yeah, definitely a must. We both did that for 10 years. And then about 3 years ago, we decided that it was time to pretty much do it for ourselves. It actually started with a suggestion from a friend actually, because I was experiencing some chronic pain. And then someone had mentioned, I had the same situation. My doctor said maybe try cutting out dairy and things like that of your diet. So I literally just overnight decided, okay, I'm gonna try this. And yeah, 4 years later, we're here, and Kalima joined me on the journey. So yeah, that's pretty much how we transitioned from being vegetarians to vegans, and then obviously starting Livity. Opened up our store in Croydon about 2.5 years ago, and that's where we were post-corona. Hopefully we'll be back soon at some point. But for those that haven't tried our food, we do actually offer a local delivery service now. So if you guys want to find out more, feel free to hit us up basically. Send us an email, follow us on Instagram. And yeah. So
details, the contact details for you in the chat. What we'll do is we'll do that. So if anyone wants to know how to get in touch, we can make sure that we put them in touch with you. Okay?
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, we'll get into what we're going to do today. So we're going to cook. I don't know how familiar everyone is with Jamaican cuisine, but the main aim of Livity is to basically create authentic dishes and stuff that people from Jamaica are used to eating, or people that like Jamaican cuisine are used to eating, but taking out the meat. So we'll go with like ackee, which is like the national dish of Jamaica. with hard food, which is like root vegetables. We got white sweet potato here, some plantain, green banana. You know, you can't do Jamaican cooking without the Scotch bonnet pepper. So yeah, we're gonna do that. So ackee with some chickpeas, curried cabbage, and then the hard food. Yeah, hard food to go with that. So first I'm just gonna get some water on for these. Is everyone familiar with hard food, ground provision?
No, I think you might have to explain what hard food is to some people.
Hard food is almost like the Caribbean root veg, if that makes sense. You know, you almost use it in the exact same way. So like, it's in we use it in a lot of our soups and things like that. Also use it in stews, or you could have it on a side like we're going to do today, which is probably the most traditional way to have it. Is where you literally just boil the veg in water and just have it as a side accompaniment to your dish. Like, so instead of rice or pasta or something like that, you would have the hard food. So I'm just going to get this on. So with like all root veg, you want to put it in cold water. You don't want it to go into hot water. Let's clear here a bit. And then when preparing veg, especially if you're going to cook it all in one pan, you got to think about the cooking time. So which one's going to cook? Which one's going to take the longest to cook? So you want to put it in the water in that order, if that makes sense. So just gonna get these peeled. Yeah. So the green banana. So green banana and plantain. When we cook it, we always cook it with the skin on. So I'm literally just gonna cut the green banana in two. And green banana is actually, a lot of people ask us, what's the difference between green banana and plantain? Green banana is a completely different thing to plantain. Green banana will actually just turn into a normal banana if you leave it long enough. So it's just a young, actual fruit banana. It's no different to that. Because a lot of people get confused. They're like, I've got a banana, what is this? Is it a plantain? Like, they look very similar, but plantains are always a lot thicker. And if you can see the difference between the plantain and the green banana. Also, you have to be very careful when you're preparing like the potato and stuff, that it's gonna go brown really quick. So what I tend to do is peel it and then just put it in some cold water to stop it from changing color. So yeah, we're gonna just get these all peeled and prep. Yeah.
Maybe could you let maybe the people in the room know where they could buy some of these items, because some people may not know. So.
Oh yeah, I'll say Surrey Street Market, which is probably a lot of you guys probably familiar with, will have everything that you need. There's also everything that we got here today, actually, we got from a place called Esme's, which is in Brixton Market. Pretty much any Asian Caribbean grocery shop should have everything that you need. And even things like ackee, actually, you can now get from Sainsbury's, Tesco's. Yeah, all your mainstream supermarkets will have ackee as well. But be aware, ackee has gone up so much recently. Like, honestly, we used to get ackee free for £9, and now the tin that we bought was £6.99. So it's not necessarily something that you're going to be cooking every day. Because the tin of ackee, this is the brand that we use, Dunn's River. Definitely recommend this. Like, you're going to find ackee cheaper, I'm not going to lie, but the quality, there's like, this is Dunn's River, if you guys can see. The quality of this is really good. So if you can't get it fresh, which you can never do in England, this is definitely less better. So yeah, I've just put my potatoes in there. I'm gonna turn that on, get that to the boil. Oh, this is a pumpkin. Yeah, that's so the pumpkin, I'm not gonna cook all of this. So I'm gonna remove the seeds, give it a wash, and then cut a piece off. I need to use this torch. So while we're working with tight spaces today, like so that everyone can see we're trying to like just stay together. So just kind of do one thing, then do another thing. Guys, pumpkins cast apart. Just so you know, I'll put it back into it a bit. Okay. How much you want?
So what have been like some of the benefits that you guys have had with your plant-based diet? Like
What's
when you
that?
I said, what have the benefits, some of the benefits that you guys have had since
The
sort of going
benefits?
from the plant-based, the plant-based diet?
I feel like overall health, like I felt like sometimes I felt really fatigued, if that makes sense, like lack of energy and things like that. So I felt that having the plant-based diet has really given us that boost of energy throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
When you eat a good meal, like in the morning, it proper keeps you going throughout the day.
Yeah.
If you eat a whole, especially if it's like a whole food lunch, you're guaranteed to be good. Like until the
keep you
evening.
going. Yeah.
Whereas I find that, what else? Skin. Just, I don't know. It's just something about eating guilt-free as well that makes you just feel good inside. It's not like just like physical benefits, spiritual benefits. Like when you just know that you've just put goodness into your body. You're not putting anything that's not harmful into your body. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's a major part of it as well.
And what about people like me? I feel like I suffer from like gluten problems. Like I don't have milk, but you know, like flour and wheat, what are good alternatives to flour?
To be honest, we do not use a lot of gluten-free products, but we do use a flour called spelt flour that is a lot better on the digestive system. But I would say that there is a lot of Asian grains. So spelt is one of the Asian grains, but that does contain a small amount of gluten. But there is other flours like teff, kamut. It's just like about what you just have to try a lot of different stuff because a lot of times people recommend stuff. That's another thing. A lot of people recommend stuff like, oh yeah, why don't you use this flour in your cake? But you can't make a cake with that. So it's like you have to learn to like literally mix, try what works. Because even for us, like even though we're trained chefs, to go straight into vegan food or to plant-based food and start working with different kind of ingredients, it's all a learning curve. So it's like, it seems daunting learning new stuff, but just keep on trying until you make it perfect. But we go through the exact same things.
Yeah, because the thing is with me, I love cake as well. Because if the cake's not right, I won't eat the cake. You know, so I love my cakes. They've got to be on food. They've got to be properly done. But so what are we doing now? Where are we up to now? What are we doing?
So I've got the potatoes in, the pumpkin in.
Okay.
And then we're gonna start preparing the cabbage. Yeah.
Cabbage. Okay.
Yeah. So I've just moved this over. It's still boiling, but it's just on the stove.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Cooking and moving around in your little space. It's good though. It's nice.
Exactly.
So I don't know if anyone in the chat or anyone in the Zoom call has got any questions. If you've got any questions or comments, you know, please.
Sorry, ladies. Just a quick one. I noticed we're obviously in pumpkin season. Can we actually use those pumpkins as well? Because I've noticed you're using a different kind of pumpkin.
Oh, so our pumpkins, we always use these pumpkins.
Yeah, they're from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you could use any, but that's just our preference for taste, and that's
But you can't use like pumpkin.
yeah,
like,
not the Halloween pumpkins. You can't use those.
Yeah, I was wondering.
But yeah, there's you can also use squash as a replacement.
Okay.
Any root veg literally could replace any veg that we're putting in today.
Okay.
So like we're all about, especially like use what you have. So don't necessarily go out and buy something because the recipe has it. If there's something that you feel that you would enjoy it, then why not just change it out rather than doing a whole new shopping, you know?
Excellent.
So we're gonna start with the cabbage. So just got a white onion, and a little bit of oil in the pan.
You find that the different onions taste differently, like your red onions, your white onions. Is you get different flavors, or is it just it's just preference?
Red onions are more sweeter, and white onions are obviously not. We normally use white onion in most of our bases. So normally, onion, thyme, Scotch bonnet are pretty much in most of our bases for everything that we cook. That's almost like our base seasoning.
Okay.
What do you need? Thyme.
Okay. And then you said, so you use that for your bases, and what do you usually use the red onions for different types of?
Red onion, so we're gonna put red onion in our ackee dish.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just more sweeter, more so than anything. So
yeah,
it all depends on preference, really. Again, it's like we just do what we feel tastes better.
Yeah.
So some people only eat red onion, so you could do the exact same thing and just use red onion. So
got you. Yeah. Okay.
And also, red onion is good to use like if you're keeping stuff raw. So we always use red onions in like our salads, our coleslaws, things like that.
Yeah, I love a good onion. I do, especially like caramelized onions. That does it.
Yeah.
So that's the fresh thyme.
Yeah, so the fresh thyme is actually going in the oil first, and then we're going to put a little bit of Scotch bonnet in there as well. I just find when you add it at the beginning and it gets the hot oil on it, it almost releases the flavour.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna slice these.
So just to obviously let everyone know about Scotch bonnet, because I'm not really a pepper person, but
oh, you're not? Okay, so right now I've added, I don't know if you can see, but I've added half a Scotch bonnet.
That's good.
There's no seeds in this. There's no seeds in this half.
Right.
But if you wanted the flavour, but you didn't want almost no heat, I would suggest keeping the bonnet whole and just letting it kind of just cook along in your food, and it will release some of the aromas. But you shouldn't get the. As long as you remember to take it out, and not eat the whole thing, then you should be good. Or just don't use it at all.
Yeah, no, you have to have a little bit in it, you know. Yeah, not too much.
So this is the curry cabbage. So we've got the thyme, the bonnet. I've chopped some onions, and then we're going to use this curry powder. This curry powder is like, I just love it. There's so many on the market, but this one here, like proper authentic Jamaican. I actually got this one from Jamaica. I literally come back with like a whole suitcase every time I go. Because over here, I think this is like £8.
What?
So that's what it is like. That's a problem. That's another thing that's a bit of a problem over here, that the more popular something gets, the prices go up. So it's like now so many people are like falling in love with Jamaican cuisine. It's becoming a bit more commercial and stuff. You can see the prices raising. So for me, we go often. So I just bring everything from there.
And it's more, I suppose it's more authentic as well for you guys. It's more fresh.
Exactly.
You know? It's nicer.
That's it. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest using, you have the dark curry powder, the Indian one. I wouldn't suggest using that for this.
Okay.
It just has a completely different taste.
Okay, got you. And what oil did you use?
And this again, you can get it in Asian, Caribbean grocery shops, and they do it in smaller packets. Like buy this big packet. I think they do like just much smaller sizes. So
Okay. What's
that
the
would
brand
work.
called? What's that brand called? Of the kind
It's called Better Pack.
Better Pack.
I don't know
Okay.
if you can-
Ah, there we go.
Yeah.
Better Pack. I'll put that in the chat for everyone. And what oil are you using? I saw you using the oil. It's not your normal vegetable oil, is it?
So we use avocado oil.
Okay.
This is like, so it's not only a lot of healthy oils, you can't, a lot of people get it a bit confused. So you can't cook, for me, it's not good to cook with coconut oil. You can mix these stuff in, but certain oils have different heating points. And when you go above a certain heating point, it becomes toxic. So when you're looking at what oils that you're using, frying with, you should definitely like read your labels basically, because it will tell you on the temperatures and stuff. So just because it's healthy, sometimes the way you're using it, it can become unhealthy. So for us, this is a healthy oil, but it also has a high heating point. This is why we use it more than anything. But you can just always use sunflower oil, veg oil. It's up to you. Really.
Okay.
I do recommend this.
Good. Thank you. It's good to know that. So.
And that's avocado oil. If you can't see the label. They sell it in everywhere as well. Tesco's, Sainsbury's. Just along with wherever you'll find that things like your coconut oil, your sesame oil, that's where you would find the avocado oil.
Perfect.
So in the pan, we've cooked off the thyme and the Scotch bonnet in the oil with some curry powder, and we'll let that cook for a bit. And now we're adding the finely sliced onions. Just want that to soften up a little bit. And we're gonna add in some white cabbage. And like what we tend to do, like even though we say Caribbean cuisine, sometimes not everything's available. For example, like usually with ackee, we would probably do callaloo, but for us, the best type of callaloo is fresh callaloo, and it's not just always, you can always use oku, but it's not traditionally put with the ackee. So you can just, as I said again, just use what's available locally and seasonal. Get creative. And yeah, just get creative. But more so, you find with food, it's all about the flavor, not necessarily the actual veg that you're using. So if you're seasoning stuff a certain way, it's still going to be just as nice. So yeah. So gonna cut our cabbage. Inside your cabbage, you've got a core. You don't want to eat that. It's going to be tough. So I'm just going to cut out the core and then slice that. And then cut it as fine as you can. So when you're cooking your base veg, sometimes the seasoning will get stuck to the pan. So instead of adding like more oil to lift it up, just add a bit of water, and then it will bring like all the seasonings off the bottom of the pan. Yeah, and then you can just literally just put everything in together. Like, there's one thing about us, like, we might cook it, we're showing you this way, but food is like, I don't like it to be so regimental, like, just go with the flow kind of thing. So us two, we don't really do the recipes or anything. It's like, just put a bit of this, put a bit of that, and you're good to go.
I think they say as long as the food's made with love, it usually will taste good, you know?
This is it. And like, I feel like sometimes it's a bit stressful sometimes when you're like, oh my God, I haven't done this at the exact time, it's gonna be all right. Sometimes just relax with it, you know?
Yeah, and just enjoy it. Enjoy
That's
the process.
And just adding a bit of salt to the food. Also, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is actually pink Himalayan salt. We use this in all of our cooking. It has a less sodium in it, and it's mixed. So it's just, yeah, so this is the natural form. There's no additives, no preservatives put in there. This is literally how they find it is how it comes. They literally just grind it down. So yeah. And that is also, you can get that from anywhere. wherever your normal salt is, your table salt is, you'll find pink Himalayan salt involved in a rock form or finely ground. Salt and pepper in there. I need salt. So just some salt and pepper. And that's another thing. We also try not to cook with too much seasonings. So a lot of the seasonings that we get nowadays, they're not always pure. That's another thing that people don't realize. So I really do say, guys, read your packaging, because sometimes we're just putting stuff into our bodies unknowingly. So with all of these seasonings, sometimes they're gonna put preservatives and stuff in there, and also it's being processed for it to last and stuff like that. So that's why we tend to always put our fresh seasonings in the bases of everything, and then put minimal dried seasonings. Yeah. Just gonna put a tiny bit of water in there, and then just literally cover it up and just let it steam. That again, I'm gonna just transfer it over to another stove, and then we're gonna start on the ackee. So ackee, I know some of you guys probably haven't tried ackee before, but I'm not gonna lie, there's not really a way of describing what it tastes like. Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like.
It looks a bit like scrambled egg, doesn't it? When you kind of think about it.
Mm-hmm. So. But would you know how to describe it?
I would say it usually comes quite yellow, and to me it looks like scrambled egg, but it doesn't look like egg, but it almost looks like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it tastes good. That's what I can tell you. But it's very difficult to describe.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah. I'd probably say the closest thing for me would probably like a scrambled egg.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the texture, not the taste. Yeah.
So to start the ackee, we're gonna do pretty much the same process as we did with the cabbage. So I'm just gonna use the other half of the bonnet. Okay. That's gonna go into the oil with some fresh thyme. Mm-hmm.
What is ackee though? For some people in the group who don't know, what would you explain it as?
Ackee is actually a fruit, but we prepare it in a savoury way. So it's not sweet. It's literally just a fruit because it has seeds, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it comes in like a little red pod, and then as it's ready to eat, it opens up, and then you'll see like the yellow flesh coming through. Mm-hmm. It has a big black seed in the middle. Surrounded by a little pink. Yeah, surrounded by a little pink membrane. And that actual seed and membrane is actually poisonous. So that needs to be, only while raw. So that needs to be removed before anything else can be done to it, basically. Okay. And then once it's in its raw stage, here, another thing is, here ackee comes already prepared for you in a tin. But in Jamaica, which I actually didn't even realize that, when the ackee, once you prepare the ackee, you've taken out the seed. Let me just cut you off for a second. Just gonna put in these for if anyone is cooking along, the banana and the green, the planted and the green banana is gonna go in the pan now. So,
okay.
So in Jamaica, it actually comes raw. So basically, once you prepped it, you actually need to boil it before you can even cook with it. So you don't just put it straight into your food. So you have to bring it to the boil, and it will almost change a different color. Like it will go from almost bright yellow to a little bit more creamy colored, and then that's when you know it's ready. So it's actually quite firm when it's raw, and then once you've cooked it or boiled it, that's when it's now ready to add to anything else. So that's how it comes in the can. It's done, the boiling's happened, everything's happened already.
Yeah, it's all ready to go, basically, isn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I must look up the history on ackee, we must look up the history on ackee, because how would you even know to follow that process to get it to a stage where you can actually, it could be edible, basically, Because I wouldn't have known that. I wouldn't have known that you had to do all of that process,
This is, I just know because I know. Does that make sense? Like, I'm never we just know. I don't know why. I don't know how it began.
It's interesting. It's just interesting. It's interesting.
And it's surprising as well that I didn't even know that ackee is not native to Jamaica. It came from West Africa first, and then it became a Jamaican thing. Whereas I've never heard African people talk about ackee as such, but it grows everywhere in places like Ghana. Yeah.
So, and they may well use it, maybe they may not, but it's funny, isn't it? I think sometimes we all have similar dishes from in terms of Africa and the Caribbean, and we use them slightly differently, you know.
So I'm just cutting off all the veg. In the pan, you've got the thyme, the bonnet, and the onions.
Okay.
And I'm just going to cut up some mixed peppers and fresh tomatoes.
Okay. It's coming along nicely. So what should be cooking now at this point, or already cooked maybe?
So we've got all of our cooked food in the pan.
Okay.
So the pumpkin, the potato, the green banana, and the plantain.
Okay.
Karima is starting the ackee. So right now we've just got oil, red onions, thyme, Scotch bonnet.
Okay.
In there, and then the chickpeas are here. So these ones we do use canned stuff, but we try to limit the amount of canned stuff that we consume. So our chickpeas, we soak them for 24 hours, we boil them, and then we just keep them on hand. So we'll just freeze them or whatever after that. So then we've always got cooked chickpeas.
Yeah. And they're probably much more fresh than probably much more fresher than the ones in the tins.
Soaked, cooked, and then
yeah. And I was saying they're probably more fresher, aren't they?
It's like they add stuff to preserve stuff, and the whole canning process in general, that's what canning is, to preserve it for the long, not just naturally preserve stuff more time. So if you can, again, if you can limit the amount of those stuff that you're consuming, it can only be beneficial to you. Now, it's not going to do you any harm as such, but it's like just healthy alternative. Just a different alternative. So I'm just going to...
The fresher the better, isn't it? So
that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to season these up. Just with some paprika. You've got some garlic there. Fresh garlic? Yeah. Some smoked paprika.
Okay.
Some oregano. And then I'm just going to put salt, pepper, and then I'm just going to use the oil again just to help it stick to the chickpeas.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to add the rest of the vegetables. I just want this to all cook down before we add that. I literally just to coat them. Like with vegetarian, vegan food, it's like just try and put flavor in at every level.
Yeah.
So it's like every element, try and just season it up, because that's where it's at really. Like everything tastes good. The more flavor, the better.
Yeah. And I think it's different with meat. You know, meat sticks, the seasons stick to the meat, don't they? And the fish you can kind of marinate. But when it's vegetables, you've got to kind of keep in the process of keeping the flavors going, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in here, once I've added the veg, I've added some salt and pepper. Always add a little bit of salt in the bases of stuff. That just helps to draw out the moisture out of the veg and helps it cook quicker. So a little bit of salt at the beginning always helps. Also enough. I'm going to leave that to you. I need to get on. Yeah. And then I'm going to add some garlic as well, some chopped garlic. And then again, so with the hard food, we're going to do it with some cooked dumpling. So our dumplings are a little bit different. Like there's so many variations of dumplings. Like every country has their own dumpling, but the basis of this dumpling is basically just flour, water, salt. And it's a boiled dumpling, so it's just going to go in the pot with the veg as well. The flour that we use is again is spelt flour. The reason why we use this flour more so than any other one is because it's a direct replacement.
Got you.
So whatever, so you don't have to add anything to it basically. And also it has a lower gluten content, so it just digests a lot faster. It's a lot easier on the gut. It's not gluten free. It's not gluten free, but
it's better than it's better than other flours, isn't it? Yeah. And how much flour do you use? Because you know sometimes when you make dumpling, you might be like, oh, I'm just gonna make about 4 or 5, and then you end up making 10.
This is why I'm literally like just got this cup. I'm like, it is like with 20 dumplings, innit?
And you can't waste them, so you know they've got to be eaten.
This is it. So let me just wait a little bit out and see how much. So I'll say I'm going for about 4 dumplings. Just because there's 2 of us, 2 each, that should work. And so, how much is that? Okay, so I'm going 150 grams of flour. Let's see. I'm predicting it's going to make 4 dumplings.
Don't know.
You know,
might be looking like 10.
But end up with a whole pot.
Literally.
So you literally a pinch of salt. My water is salted, so I know everyone's salt tolerance is different. I like my food with quite a bit of salt, so I'm putting salt in the dumpling mix, but you don't have to. And then the same with water. Let me weigh it out for you guys. So then,
thank you.
Check the. Okay, let me drain. So this ackee, I'm just going to drain it and then use it like that. Some people wash their ackee, but I find that when you wash it, it's in salty water anyway, so it's not like it's in brine or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, brine has got that salt in it as well. I'm sure it has in it. So this is 200 mils of water, but I'm not going to put it all in at once because you can always add water, you can't take it back out.
That's true.
So I'll put 100 mils in.
And do you have to have, when you're cooking at this point, do you have your fire fairly low, just so you don't burn everything, just at a reasonable heat, so that?
Yeah. So my so that was 150 mils of water.
Okay.
So I've literally just got my veg on a simmer right now, and the same with the cabbage. And then here's my dough so far.
Okay, it's come out nice.
Okay, I think I've put a little bit too much water, so like you might want to go 140. About 140. I'm just gonna add some more flour in it.
So with this particular flour, you don't have to let it stand. You could just use it as you need it, because you know sometimes with flour you've got to let it stand so the yeast can kind of expand. You don't have to do that with it. Okay,
you can just use it straight away. And with the dumpling, I like my dumpling quite firm, not fluffy. When it comes to boiled dumpling, I think fluffy dumpling should be like fried dumplings. I need it quite a lot. So like until like when you break it, you can literally hear yourself ripping it.
Okay, I've got you. So that's a good little tip to know then.
Well, yeah, I know lots of people, their dumplings are like pillows almost, and I'm like,
it's too soft, isn't it?
You can't get your textures right. Okay, so I've just drained the ackee, and I'm gonna add the seasoned chickpeas to the onion, peppers. Yeah, I'm not gonna use it.
So just to refresh, what have we got in the pan? We've got.
So in the pan we have started with the oil, Scotch bonnet, and thyme.
Okay.
And then I've added the red onion, mixed peppers, chopped fresh tomatoes.
Okay.
Chopped garlic, salt, pepper, and then I've just added the seasoned chickpeas.
Lovely. I feel like I can
Yeah,
smell it through the screen. I can smell it all through the screen.
Hey, it smells glitter, man.
Smell it through the screen.
I don't know, can you guys see inside the pan?
I can see it, but I feel like I can see the smell. I can see the steam coming up as well. Like, I can smell it through the screen.
If only that you could smell it for.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna cook it off like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna add the chickpeas. I mean, not chickpeas, sorry, the ackee. So again, I'm just literally like working this dough. And because this has a bit less of gluten content, it's going to take a little bit longer to get tough.
Yeah, to knead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all right. It'll just work our muscles and our arms, isn't it? It's like doing a little workout for your hands. Your arms.
I'm telling you. How long for? About 10 minutes or so? About 5 minutes. About 5 minutes. But just like go for it kind of thing. I'll get this kind of small piece of dough in it. So obviously the more dough you're working with, the longer you're gonna have to knead it for.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's not so good.
And the good thing about this meal is quite quick, isn't it? It's not, it doesn't take too long. You're not going to be in the kitchen for hours. You know, and it's a nice little meal where it could be lunch, it could be brunch, it could be dinner.
Exactly.
It's an all-rounder, isn't it? Yeah.
That's it. And then even if you have like leftover pumpkin, leftover potatoes, that can always be reused another day as well.
Definitely, yeah. So, which is nice.
I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with, I don't know the real name for it, but we call it cook and fry. So the day after you have your bowl of dumplings, you may have some left.
Yeah.
Like, say for example, we had a bit of ackee left. We would have in the morning the ackee, and then we would get our bowl of dumplings, slice them in half, and then fry them on each side.
Okay.
And then have that with your ackee. It's
that's
like
all right.
a whole dish.
Yeah, it's like a remix. It's like a remix to the original meal, isn't it?
This is it.
So, I like that. And that's good because nothing wastes as well. You know, you're still gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, because we're funny. We don't like to eat the same thing twice, but we always have too much food, so you always have to remix it. Yeah,
yeah. But it's nice because you enjoy it, and then you can find new ways of having the same thing but in a different way. Exactly. You know, which is nice. And I think obviously because we've had the lockdown as well, I think it's good to kind of have some healthy little ways of having the same meal or using the same meal again, but just having it in a healthy way, you know.
Definitely. A little bit more flour. Okay, so the chickpeas are pretty much cooked now. So
brilliant. Lovely. Can everyone see that? I hope. I don't know if anyone wants to update the chat and tell me what they feel. It's very colourful, isn't it? It looks nice. Tasty. That's good.
And
nice and vibrant.
Add a teeny bit of water just to bring up the seasonings from the bottom of the pan again.
Yeah.
Oh, and I'm just. And then, so now I'm just adding in the dumpling to this.
Okay.
We have to be careful because I've been chatting a bit. Like my veggie just been cooking. So if you might want to check your veg or whatever, I might need to take them out before putting the dumplings in. Usually I'd be a bit more quicker, so it would all cook at one time. Yeah.
But it's okay. I know you're literally multitasking.
This is it, exactly. So here's your ackee, guys. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh yeah, we can.
So I just literally drained it and then that's it. You can see how it is. It's nice, big pieces. Like it's nice and whole. Like certain brands, you'll see that it will look more mushier. So yeah, this is why we say Dunn's River. That it's really firm.
Yeah, you can see the quality is different, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with ackee, I always say, people say to me, how do you get ackee so it doesn't get mushy? The key is to steam your ackee on top of the food.
Got
so you don't mix it. So I'm literally just going to pour it on top.
Okay.
Turn the fire down to the lowest. Put a lid on, and it's going to leave it for about 10 minutes. And then when I take the lid off, I'll like slowly incorporate the chickpeas and stuff in.
Got you.
And then that's it. So not too much interfering with it.
Okay. So that's a good little tip to know as well. I just saw some messages in the chat. So Sasha has said, Delish, it's a good thing I'm eating some lunch now. So that's good. Probably her mouth is watering. And then I think Shay has also said, this looks yummy, ladies. It does. It definitely does.
Thank you, guys.
Marva says, cook along smells lovely. Cooking along smells lovely. So she's cooking along. So Marva, you might want to show us your outcome when you finish.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that'll be good. That's good. At least I'm glad to see someone's cooking along. That's lovely.
Also, I forgot to say, before I put the lid on, I just want to add another layer of seasoning. So here I've just added, on top of the ackee, I've just added some dried oregano, and a little bit of normal paprika, and a little bit of smoked paprika. Okay. And then I'm going to add a teeny bit of salt on top, and some black pepper. Just literally another layer. And for your dumplings, I've been like just cracking on with it. But for your dumplings, you just want to rip off some dough. I've added some more flour, like just to cover my hands because it's a bit sticky. And then just roll into a ball pretty much. And then I just like press down with my thumb so you get like a little dent, and then just straight into the water. Yeah. So, how long do you like your dumplings to boil for? I was cooking for about 10-15 minutes. But dumplings, some people prefer to put them in first. Right. But I find like sometimes the starch and all the vegetables, because you're putting it in, it like kind of absorbs it. Right. So I prefer them to be cooked and then add my dumplings. But you can never overcook a dumpling. So no, you can't. You can put it in whatever way you want, cook it for as long as you want. It's all up to you. But yeah, about 10 minutes. Okay, that's good. So that's pretty much it now. So by the time the dumplings are done, these the ackee should be done. Okay. And the cabbage is done already now. Just gonna give it a quick taste. Make sure that you don't need to adjust the seasoning. Okay. I think that's it. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, this is like the perfect time. Yeah. But everything's kind of just bubbling along. Okay. So has anyone got any questions in the chat or would like to unmute themselves? If we've got any curious questions for Kalima and Karima? Has anyone got any questions at all? Maybe Marva, how are you getting on with your cooking so far? I don't know if Marva can hear us. Is she here? Do you know, I actually probably need my glasses because I'm squinting. So I'm sure it said Marva. I just want to double check because my eyes. Let's see. Yes, it is Marva. So what other things could you cook along with ackee then that you could suggest then that could be cooked with ackee as a dish? I love fried dumpling with ackee. Mm-hmm. What else would I have ackee? Rice. Sometimes the most simplest dishes as well. Just rice, ackee, avocado on the side, some fried plantain. Yeah. Obviously the traditional way, ackee and saltfish. There's alternatives as well. I haven't tried them, but a lot of people say things like heart of palms. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that, but it's like as far as I know, it's an oriental vegetable. And that it has the same texture as saltfish. It doesn't have the same taste, but if you wanted to change out for the texture, then you should use that or jackfruit. Yeah, I've had jackfruit. Yeah. The thing is with jackfruit, I'm struggling with jackfruit because when I was in Jamaica, I had jackfruit as a fruit in the morning, like with my pineapple. So now when I see they're selling jackfruit and you could have pulled barbecue jackfruit, I'm so like, how's that going to taste? You know what I mean? Because I'm so used to it as a fruit. Yeah, it's like now going into savory. You know? Yeah, we're really saying like for some reason people love it, but I wouldn't personally ever order it or eat it. I'll taste it because obviously our customers like it, but I can't get the thought of the fruit as well. The fruit, so as I'm eating it, I'm literally picturing the fruit, and I'm like, literally, this is not working for me. I've got curry fruit in front of me. Exactly. So I see them doing that a lot in terms of that, and I feel like with the plant-based thing as well, there's so much. Like, funny enough, I went to Tesco's yesterday. They've got so much different types of plant-based foods on the market, and one of the things I wanted to try, I know you're not doing this today, was the the mushrooms. But they've got these mushrooms that apparently taste like chicken. They're like fried the oyster mushrooms. Oyster mushrooms, that's it. So they're good. Are they good? Really nice. Yeah, there's a good alternative. Yeah, definitely is. Yeah, because I think when you're doing the plant-based, I think I'm not really plant-based. I do more pescatarian, but I think when you're doing the plant-based, it's like you have to try and find alternatives that will fit the lifestyle. That is it, because cravings are cravings. So you have to literally just find better alternatives. But the chicken, not the chicken, the mushrooms are definitely a good one. Because it's the texture as well.
Okay.
Oh, because you can get it nice and crispy on the outside, and you can put a lot of flavour into the actual batter itself.
Okay.
So that's definitely a really nice one.
Yeah. Hopefully, if you guys do another session, yeah, that would be good to try because I definitely think I would like to
we
try
might do that for the next one actually. Now that you said
next
it.
one. Yeah, see?
Should we do that?
You do that for the next one. Please do, because then I'll do the cook along as well. I'll get the ingredients as well. I want to learn how to do that because I've seen it.
Yeah, and it's
literally
flour. Literally flour, the mushrooms, and some seasoning. Like you don't need the ingredients list is small, so
it's perfect.
Super quick to make.
I'm gonna try that. Yeah, I want to try that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, we've done that in a burger. Yeah, one time we made a burger with it, and we had like coleslaw, cheese, barbecue sauce.
See, Martha said, please do the mushrooms.
The mushrooms.
She said, the chat. She just said, please do the mushrooms. So she knows we're on the same page.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
That'll be the next one. Let me just check on these. That smells so good. Just pass me a fork out of it, please.
Hey, you know what's nice as well? Because we're obviously in London. I think Shay's in America, but it's been raining all day today. So this is probably the nice food that you can have, nice comfort foods, you know.
Exactly. And this is perfect for this weather. Absolutely perfect. Okay, so
Sasha.
Okay, so the pumpkin is cooked already.
Yeah.
Sorry guys. The pumpkin is cooked already. So, but the dumplings aren't. So it's just removing it, putting it in another pan, cling filming it so it stays hot.
Okay, got you.
So you can do that. So as soon as any of the veg is ready, you just take it out, wrap it up, and then
put it to one side. Okay. So Sasha said in the chat if we do it, she'll cook along as well. She's with us, and if we could send the ingredients ahead of time. So we will do that. So what we do is when we have the next Eventbrite session with Kalima and Karima, we'll definitely include the ingredients with the Eventbrite. So when you register with Eventbrite, all the information should be there. So there's no excuses. Okay. So
that'll be sick if everyone cooking along. Definitely.
So we will do that. So that'll be good. I'll be looking forward to that.
Ready? Yeah. And this is it, like, see how beautiful, I don't know if you guys can see this, how yellow that potato is. Like, this is why it's just like sometimes just enjoy your back home foods because you're not going to get this everywhere. So, literally just a normal potato, but it's just next levels. And this is how I cook it. I don't overcook it, like, not like mushy, just cooked. Like, if you see when I'm, even though I need this, but anyway, if you see when I'm cutting it, it's just like a little tiny bit of resistance.
Yeah. But just enough to be, you know.
This is it.
Yeah.
And another thing is like, we don't have a microwave.
Okay, that's good.
So when we cook food, we have to be mindful that you're gonna want to reheat it as well. So like most of the things that we cook, we just cook.
Yeah, so just enough, basically. Yeah.
So if you need to reheat it,
And is there any particular type of dishes that you use? Because that red pot there's looking very nice. That red pot.
Right?
Yeah.
You see that?
What type of dishes?
Smell.
What type of pot have you cooked in today then? That dish you've got there. Is that a particular type of pot or?
Oh yeah, cast iron pot.
Cast iron pot.
Just the non-toxin. So we've literally been searching everywhere for these. Like guys, whatever in there, guys, please someone help us. Someone's like, go TK Maxx, and we literally went TK Maxx last week and got 2.
What?
And then yesterday we were in TK Maxx and we found another one. These are normally like over £100 for like the proper ones. These were $24.99 each.
I'm just gonna come up. I'm just gonna pop to my TK Maxx. I'll see you lot in a bit. Yeah. Go get my own pot now.
So that's another thing. Again, it's like trying to just make better decisions and stuff. Like so, they're non-toxin. They don't have that. You'll find with a lot of non-stick stuff now. They're sprayed with all sorts of stuff to stop the food from sticking. But with these now, they're cast iron. They're gonna do that naturally, and not only they're made from iron, and iron has benefits. So
Definitely.
and gets absorbed
Yeah.
into the food, which
Yeah.
naturally goes into your body. So
Good,
these are just
good.
like small stuff. And as I said, like we haven't always like I've had these for 2 weeks. So not just necessarily like stuff is
Yeah.
expensive. Like so
Yeah,
take
it
your
is.
time. Like we waited, someone told to us go TK Maxx, and then we went. So like don't be too
Really well.
another thing like there's a lot of advice out there like do this, you need to do that, like da, 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 da. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like everything is a process. So you start small and then eventually like you'll be doing stuff and you're like, oh, like it's so natural. So it's like that's another thing. Sometimes pressure can lead to you not sticking to certain things and just take the pressure equation out of it and just be like, oh, okay, today I'm gonna eat a vegetarian meal or today I'm gonna, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just, oh yeah, I'm gonna be vegan overnight or stuff like that.
Yeah, it is definitely a process. That is 100%. You know, you can't rush that at all. You know?
And if you want that longevity of stuff as well, that's important, like, because sometimes you can make a switch and you think, yeah, I'm going for it, and then 2 weeks later you're tired, you're thin, but you just rushed into it. So that's another thing. Like I see a lot of people just promoting eat plant-based, eat plant-based, eat plant-based, but they don't break it down to people and make them understand that it's a process, and not only just for yourself, as in like your willpower, for your body as well. To just cut something off, your body's gonna feel it. Whether it's something better or something worse, like if your body's used to something, it's gonna go into shock. Like that's simple. Yeah, we were vegetarians for like 13 years previously before we actually turned. Yeah, so for us, we were able to just do that overnight because we hadn't eaten meat for so long anyway. But that's one thing I really like try and put into people, like take your time.
Yeah, I think when I stopped eating meat, I did it on a 6-month basis. So it's been like 7 years, but I still eat fish, and that's where I'm trying to do that transition to going from fish to vegetarian, then to plant-based. But you're right, because it's all mental, isn't it? You know, and your body naturally craves things as well. So you know, you have to try and structure yourself and discipline yourself as best you can. Like me, I just can't stop eating cakes, and I know I shouldn't, but I just love it. So, you know, but that's a process, that's something that I have to challenge myself with, you know, at the time. Exactly. So I think Sasha said she's got a few pots. Is that what she said? Yes, I've got a few from TK Maxx. Some great prices on there. So guys, make your way down to TK Maxx, because I know I am. You know, because I thought those were like John Lewis pots, you know. I was like, these pots are looking very expensive. I was like, let me ask where those pots are from. So
okay, so this ackee is pretty much done. I'm just gonna give it a quick little mix. Like, I'm being very gentle with it.
Okay.
And then I'm just gonna taste it to make sure that you don't need any more seasoning. I feel like it might need more Scotch bonnet, but
so okay, tasting good? Yeah?
Nice.
I wonder how Martha's getting on. Is Martha here? Can she hear me?
I think a little bit more salt.
Where is she? Is Martha here?
A teeny bit more salt. That's it.
She says she's doing okay. Brilliant. That's good to hear. Martha says she's doing okay. Perfect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, if I do say myself, so that is pretty much ready now. Actually, let me show you guys if you can see.
Let's have a look. Ooh, look at that. You said you're doing delivery, so I might have to come and put a request in soon.
Just waiting for these dumplings to cook.
Okay.
A couple of minutes, and then everything can come together. A bowl.
So Martha's asked, is it a problem with using a Dutch pot or a Dutchie when you're cooking?
No, Dutchies are basically, they're made from iron anyway. This is another aluminium, no? No, they're not. Are they iron? This is thin, but a proper Dutch pot is made out of iron. I'm sure it is. Yeah. The traditional Dutch. Yeah. So it depends where you get your Dutch pot from. Like we've got a Dutch pot, but ours is aluminium. But they do have, the proper
the cast iron ones.
Dutch
Yeah,
pot,
yeah.
the cast iron ones. Those ones just as good. And that's what's so funny about just the world in general. Like when you look at it, like we've been using these pots from way back. Way back, people using this, and then they bang out non-stick and all these stuff, and we're like, yay! But really,
get back to the old original. Yeah,
this is it. So that's another thing, like that you will see, like just the way that things are now given to you, like, oh guys, like this is healthy, But when you actually look back on stuff, the original ways it's
the best way.
So sometimes it's literally like just going back to the original, and that's why, like, that's another thing, like why we promote like the plant-based way of living rather than veganism, because veganism is not necessarily health conscious or eating from the earth. But when we decided to make the change, the first things that we associated plant-based eating with was with Rastafarian. So for us, automatically we were drawn into that rather than mainstream veganism.
Got you.
You can't get better than eating from the earth. Like,
yeah, I agree. And also even in simple. Like, and planting your own foods as well, even your own herbs. You know, you can start small in the house, even, you know, planting little things that you can eat that are natural.
We have a balcony. We don't even have a garden, but we grow all of our own herbs. So it's like you can always make do. You can always make do.
You can.
So like that's why we just like, when we talk about food, we talk about the naturalness of it, like, because we want people to just realize that sometimes what you need, you can provide for yourself.
You can.
Like, you plant that, you watch it grow, you use it. Like, sometimes some things, like, you think, like, oh, how do people eat this way? They eat so healthy. Oh, look, they got a little garden, they got all these stuff. But really, it's just using what you have and making the most of it.
Yeah, definitely.
You managed to get a couple of beetroot one time.
That's good. You done well. You done well. You done well. But it's so true though. You have to try and make it your own. You know, my auntie, she's got a big garden,
and especially like.
Now I say my auntie has a big garden in Eastbourne, so she grows all her food from there. So
this is what I would love. I would love to be able to do that. And now I just got to make do with what we got. Exactly.
Because you know, people don't realize as well, cucumber has seeds in it, you know, like the proper cucumber.
Yeah,
you know, when my aunt started growing the things, you start to realize that it's things like that needed.
I've actually got a seeded cucumber.
Okay. No, it's okay. Next week.
Yeah, from a place called, I think you mentioned earlier, Esme, which get their produce from Jamaica, and the Jamaican cucumbers naturally have the seeds in them. Pretty much. So these dumplings, I'm gonna start plating up so you guys can see them.
So Sasha's just said her experience with ackee is it always ends up mushy. So watching you do this and adding it to the meal afterwards is quite a good tip for her. So she said, thank you ladies for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Trust me, a lot of failed ackee attempts. I'm like, what is going on? It's like clicked to me, like, just don't touch it. Leave it.
What's this brown dish you've got here? This brown dish.
So literally we eat all of our food out of a calabash. So it's a fruit that grows in Jamaica basically.
Okay.
But the fruit is edible. It's edible, but people don't eat it. Yeah, so it's almost like a fruit that doesn't get used, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So it comes back as a big bowl, and then they scoop out the inside, cut them in half, dry them out, and then you got a bowl given to you by the earth.
I love that. So, you probably will get something at you probably get something like that at TK Maxx for £25, and look at that. That's nice. That's a natural little bowl that you can use.
We also sell these, guys. We have like different ones with different designs, but like one with Africa print. And we use all of these have been custom made for us. So we've used Andinka symbols, which are Ghanaian symbols.
Okay.
So most of our designs, we're not Ghanaian, but these are just stuff that resonate with us. So that's why we chose those designs. So yeah, and your food tastes much better out of these. I'm telling you, I swear by them.
Where can people buy your dishes and your items? Where can they buy them?
From www.livityplantbased.co.uk.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna try and put that in the chat as well. And we'll try and contact all of the people that have attended today and give them your details, the recipe again as well, and also your contact details.
Okay, so I'm literally gonna plate up everything now.
So Marva said, okay. Thanks, ladies. So Marva said, thanks, I've got to go now, but dinner's done. So she's all good to go. She's cooked and ready to go.
Nice, good, that's good. Okay, so we've got the pumpkin. We keep the skin on, you don't have to. You can peel it, you can peel it off afterwards, but we eat it. Just extra fiber, extra vitamins.
Got you.
So as long as your veg is washed really well, then normally all veg you can eat the skin. Oh well, not bananas. I wouldn't suggest.
What's a good way to wash the veg so that you could get some of the, some of the toxins and the peroxides and stuff?
In apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar.
So it in water and apple cider vinegar. Salt, right? I think salt works as well. Yeah. So bicarb. So you just want to be able to get the the dirt out of it. That's mostly what it is. So yeah, just soak it. I can't tell you the exact parts. I just like water, a bit of that. So I can't tell you like how to ratio it. But just you can just Google like best ways to wash veg or something, and maybe somebody would have the actual measurements of how much vinegar to water and stuff like that.
Good. Okay.
So I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing.
So what have we got in addition now?
As I said before, everything's cooked in the skin. Yeah. And then I'm just literally gonna peel it away.
Yeah. So that's looking nice. So that's what's that? Plantain or green banana? That's green banana.
That's the green banana. Yeah, so far we've got the pumpkin, plantain, green banana, and then there's a bit of the sweet potato down there.
Okay, lovely. What sweet potato did you use? Did you use white sweet potato or orange sweet potato? There's two types.
We use white sweet potato. So the white sweet potato, but there's also two types of white sweet potato. So there's white sweet potato with white skin. Okay. And then there's white sweet potato with ready purple skin. Okay. So we use the ready purple one.
Got you. Okay.
I think the only difference is I don't know why they're different colours. I think what's happening there? Okay.
No, we see you. Don't worry.
I'm not sure why they're different colours.
Okay.
But I think they're just grown in different countries. They actually taste the same.
Okay.
Okay, so okay. Also, at this point, don't forget to remove your bonnet, just in case it ends up in anyone's food.
Or in your mouth. You'd be crying.
Tell me about it. Happened a few times.
I've had that experience.
Okay, and then you've got the curry cabbage. Oh, let's show them. So here, you've got the curry cabbage. So just cut down, like literally just what you saw us putting in, the curry powder, garlic, salt, pepper, garlic, onions. That's all that went into there, and some water and the cabbage. Okay.
So maybe if you take maybe a picture if you can for us, so we can share it with the people who have attended today, so they can see what the end result should look like, So when they go to cook it themselves, it should be looking hopefully similar to what you've done. Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm missing dumpling. Oh yeah, the dumpling.
The thing is, the dishes are so small and the portions are small, but you'll definitely feel filled up, I'm sure.
Definitely.
So, Kay's asked, do you guys have a YouTube channel?
Pending. You have a YouTube channel, it just doesn't have any content.
Well, this is your first content here, isn't it? This is your first.
This is it. There we go.
The first one doing it. So.
That's pretty much everything now. I don't know if you guys can see the bowl.
So, guys, that is the end result. Look at that, delicious. Don't know if you can hear me making the noises.
Could you take a picture for us?
Yeah, of course.
For our website.
Yeah, that'll be perfect. And also as well, could you ladies just let everyone know that you've got your social media platforms as well, because that's kind of like where I knew you guys from, but I used to buy lunch from you guys because our office is in Croydon, But maybe let everybody know your social media platforms. That'd be good as well.
So I think we're the same name over Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So Livity Plant-Based Cuisine.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Livity Plant-Based Cuisine.
Perfect. So guys, make sure you follow Livity Plant-Based Cuisine. I think Sasha said lovely, wholesome meal, and Shay said fabulous as well. So good. So I'm hoping you guys have really enjoyed what Karima and Kalima have cooked for us today. You know, I'm thinking I might have to come and spin around.
Get a chance to recreate it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I might have to put
in there for so good.
I'm hoping you got any takeaway plastic, well not plastic, well anyway, takeaway bowls for me because I might have to pop around and come for a little takeaway. Because it's looking.
So real though, if you come and get your sea moisture.
Exactly. So I might have to come and get that. I'm probably gonna go this afternoon. Sorry guys. So I might have to come this afternoon. Then. But I hope you guys have really enjoyed what Livity plant-based cuisine. Do you guys do anything in terms of events? Do you do weddings? Do you provide services in that region at all, or?
Yeah. So we're literally available. We do birthdays, private dining, so where we come to you and like cook in your home.
That's good.
So we're quite flexible when it comes to that. Usually, that's something that we do usually on the weekends. So catering, birthday parties, birthday cakes.
Yeah.
And then the best way will just be to literally send us your whatever you need by email. So just let us know what you want, and then we'll go from there. Send you menus, things like that.
Yeah. So I hope
look
everyone
out for our YouTube coming soon.
Good.
We're working on getting some cooking classes.
Perfect.
We did a few cooking classes before, but in person. So now it's like we're kind of waiting, like, oh, we don't want to do the Zoom and stuff like that, but it's coming to a point where kind of got to get with it.
But the Zoom's not too bad. You've done a lovely presentation today for us, so I thought it was brilliant. And you went through the whole process with us, which was nice. So it was step by step, so everyone can take their time and understand what the ingredients are about and so on. So I really do appreciate everything that you've done. We've got another one next week, haven't we? I believe it is on the 28th.
28th, yeah. Crispy mushrooms, guys.
Yeah, so we look forward to the oyster mushrooms. And we will circulate some of the recipes after this as well. We do appreciate everything that you've done for us today. And just to let everyone else know in the room, we do have a continuation of Black History Month events for the remainder of the month. It has been a whole month process for us in terms of the different workshops that we've had. We've had performances, we've had food, we've had lovely Kalima and Karima today, which is so nice. So look out for that on our Eventbrite page or our Optivo website. So I think that's pretty much it from me. Is anything, before we go, guys, I just want to say, do you guys have any last questions or anything that you'd like to add? Feel free to take yourselves off mute, and maybe if you've got anything.
I have. Just a quick one. In the current pandemic, are you guys on any of the food delivery platforms like Just Eat, Uber Eats? Are you planning to be?
So we are planning to be. We are having. Well, we wanted to have it sorted already, but we are having a bit of problems with our council at the minute. Hopefully, they will understand because of the situation that it's kind of vital that we cook from our house right now, basically.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work with the council to basically get that approved, and then.
Perfect.
Okay, excellent. Graham?
I'm sure. Graham, yep, go ahead, Graham.
Yep, thank you very much, ladies. It looks like a very much healthier way of eating. It looks very appetising. I've never experienced it, but I'm sure I would enjoy it when I get the opportunity.
Oh, thank you, Graham.
Oh,
you definitely will.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. And I think Sasha said thank you in the group chat as well. And I don't know if anyone's got anything else to say, but make sure you come next week because we'll have the ladies here again on the 28th and sign up on our Eventbrite to register to attend the next workshop. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Ladies, it's been a pleasure and we do appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Have a nice afternoon, everyone. Take care.
And you, everyone, enjoy the rest of your week.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Sorry,
Bye.
Zanetta, I think next week is going to be, off the top of my head, I think it's 1 o'clock, but I would suggest going to the Eventbrite page and you'll definitely get the times on there. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.